North Korea has vowed that Japan will meet its end if it persists with purchasing military arms from the U.S. Kim Jong-un's mouthpiece KCNA, citing the despot's newspaper Rodong Sinmum, issued the new threats shifting World War III tensions and other palpable gear. The propaganda rag accused the Japan of directly and indirectly abetting war hysteria, as it also lashed out U.S. military drills in the Korean Peninsula, which began yesterday. Referring to rogue state by its North Korean abbreviation, it said, Japan's allegation that it will cope if the DPRK's ballistic missile and its components fall on Japanese land is tantamount to a noise, making the world laugh. What matters is that the Japanese reactionaries' heedless acts are adding to the danger of nuclear war on the Korean Peninsula. Trump let loose a torrent of unheard-of rubbish against the DPRK, regardless of occasion and place, only putting the situation of the peninsula on the threshold of a nuclear war. Huge nuclear war hardware of the U.S., including nuclear carrier strike groups, nuclear submarines and nuclear strategic bombers, have amassed on the Korean Peninsula in the wake of the remarks of the old lunatic. Japan is directly and indirectly abetting the war hysteria of its master, a psychopath. It is the cunning trick of the Japanese reactionaries to catch fish in troubled waters for its ambition for militarism. However, Japan's reckless acts will result in putting and tightening the noose around its neck. Japan shouldn't forget even a moment that it will come to an end first in return for dancing to the tune of war provocations of its master. The latest threats come after it was announced at the start of the month that the U.S. State Department had approved a $113 million, £85 million, sale of air-to-air missiles to Japan. Donald Trump will hold talks with Japanese Emperor Akihito and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe next month during the president's tour of Asia. Increasing tensions with North Korea are set to be high on the meeting agenda. In addition to feeling the military might of the U.S., the rogue nation is also the victim of an economic squeeze from Britain and the EU. Boris Johnson recently announced he was standing with other foreign ministers in a decision to invoke fresh sanctions on the Hermit Kingdom in a bid to dismantle Kim Jong-un's expanding missile program. The foreign secretary detailed the effort that will dismantle vital sources of revenue that is currently being poured into Pyongyang's weapons program. He said, North Korea continues to pose an unacceptable threat to the international community, which is why the UK, working closely with our European allies, has secured a set of stringent new sanctions upon the regime. As I have said before, the North Korean regime must bear full responsibility for the measures that the international community is enacting against it, including these sanctions. Maximizing diplomatic and economic pressure on North Korea is the most effective way to pressure Pyongyang to halt its illegal and aggressive actions.